Ah, the Caribbean islands. They're one of the most sought out places for tropical getaways, and they're especially going to be busy now with the COVID-19 travel protocols starting to slow down and many countries around the world starting to loosen their travel restrictions. You may have clicked on this video wondering what are the good places to visit in the Caribbean islands. Well, this video is going to give you a top 10 list of just that. The top 10 places to visit in the Caribbean islands in 2022. Now for the record, this video will only cover the islands of the Caribbean. So places like Costa Rica will not be on this list because it's part of the big North American continental landmass. We'll only be focusing on the islands. So be sure to grab your passport, your Spanish-English dictionary, and your sunblock, and let's get started. Number 10, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is, of course, an island in the Caribbean Sea. And you may have heard of Puerto Rico from the countless amount of times that the United States has tried to make it into a state. And there have been some misconceptions that Puerto Rico is a US state. Now, let me clear this up right now. Puerto Rico is not a US state. It is a US territory, however. But it is an island filled with gorgeous beaches like the Luquillo Beach, Playa Flamenco, and Sunbay Beach, among other beaches. And there are many cities and towns in Puerto Rico to stay in like San Juan, Vieques, Ponce, Rincon, Manatí, and many more. And if beaches aren't your thing for this summer, Puerto Rico has other things for you as well. If you like hiking and forests, Puerto Rico has El Yunque National Forest, where you can walk the walking trails and witness over 240 species of trees and hundreds of species of plants, as well as some beautiful landmarks in the forest like La Coca Falls and La Mina Falls. Though if you do plan on visiting Puerto Rico, you may want to brush up on your Spanish a bit, as it is one of the official languages there and is quite commonly spoken, especially in places of business. But many English-speaking tourists who have been to Puerto Rico have said that you can get by with English in Puerto Rico with little problems. And also, a word of warning, Puerto Rico does get hit by a lot of hurricanes as it is located right in the Caribbean hurricane belt, and the Atlantic hurricane season does start on the 1st of June. So when you're visiting there, I would pay attention to weather forecasts and be prepared in case a hurricane disrupts your travel plans. Number 9. Aruba. Located just off the northern coast of Venezuela, Aruba is often considered by many to be one of the most beautiful islands in the Caribbean Sea. The island is occupied by the Kingdom of the Netherlands and lists its official languages as Papiamento and Dutch. So I would probably learn at least a little bit of Dutch before you go here. Although for many people who have visited Aruba, if you speak English pretty well, you could get by in most places. But I'll just leave that up to you. Its capital city is Oranjestad, which is located on the west coast and is the most visited city in Aruba. It has many gorgeous beaches like Drauf Beach and Malmuk Beach, both of which, according to Aruba's website aruba.com, are really good beaches for families. Outside of its gorgeous beaches, there are other things you can do over there that aren't related to the beach. Like Aruba has many walking, bike, e-bike, and even motorcycle tours around the island. It also has quite a few caves you can explore if you're into cave exploring. If you go to the Arcoc National Park, there are 3 caves you can explore there. For example, the Guadariquiri Cave, which is known for its 2 chambers that have the lovely sunlight penetrating through the hole in the surface kind of look. There's also many other areas to sightsee around the island. Like if you're into looking at natural bridges, Aruba has some of those. And to add some sparkle to this lovely island, Aruba is actually outside of the Caribbean hurricane belt, so you don't really have to worry about direct hits from violent hurricanes during the Atlantic hurricane season. Though there are occasionally tropical storms or big rainstorms caused by remnants of dissolved hurricanes, that's usually how bad it gets there. It's a neat island to visit and I would recommend it. Number 8. The Bahamas. The Bahamas are many little islands located just off the coast of Florida. The Bahamas have been a popular getaway in the Caribbean for a long time, and for good reason. They got a lot to do here. The Bahamas has a lot of beaches you can relax in, such as Cabbage Beach on Paradise Island and Tahiti Beach on Abacos. And that's just 2 of their beaches. They literally have 2,000 beaches in the Bahamas. It's insane. The Bahamas is also very big with couples, especially honeymooners, as many consider the Bahamas as a romantic getaway. It is also a good getaway for families. Nassau, located on New Providence Island and the Bahamian capital and largest city, is the most visited city in the Bahamas. What a shocker. But there are plenty of other cities to visit in the Bahamas other than Nassau, like Paradise Island, Freeport, Alistown, Cape Santa Maria, and many more. And if you're an English speaker, which I'm assuming at least most of you are since you're watching this, I have some good news for you. English is the official language of the Bahamas. While learning other languages like Spanish are useful when visiting the Bahamas, as it's an international destination of where people from all over the world visit, if you're an English speaker, you should have no problem getting by here. And a word of warning, the Bahamas is in the Caribbean hurricane belt, so I would be cautious when visiting during the Atlantic hurricane season. Number 7. Antigua. Antigua, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated islands to visit on this list. Its 365 beaches to relax in and its delicious seafood cuisine has drawn in tourists from all over the world. Many people who have visited here called it a tropical paradise, and its weather seems to assure that, as because it is so close to the equator, the temperature stays roughly in the late 20s. And for those of you who follow the Fahrenheit system, it's roughly around the low to mid 80s. It's warm, believe me, and they also have lower than average amount of rainfall than a lot of other Caribbean islands, which is fantastic for beachgoers. I mean, I don't know about you, but I for sure would love to go to a beach without worrying I'm going to be disturbed by a heavy downpour that comes out of nowhere. Florida. Though I do caution you, be on the lookout for hurricanes. And other than the beach, there's also other things to do. Like many tourists who go to Antigua are big on sailing around the island. And who wouldn't? In my opinion, riding on boats is fun. And there is also historical preservations to check out in Antigua, like Nelson's Dockyard, which is steeped in Caribbean naval history. And for those of you who are mega fans of the movie Pirates of the Caribbean might find learning more about that exciting. Number 6. Turks and Caicos. Now, this has actually become a more recent popular attraction, especially with celebrities like Brad Pitt, Taylor Swift, Rihanna, and other celebrities. They've all spent some time here. It's crazy, but there is good reason. Turks and Caicos is actually a great tropical getaway. There are many beaches to visit in Turks and Caicos, which they themselves call them the best beaches in the world. So you can say the people of Turks and Caicos are quite proud of their beaches. There is Grace Bay Beach, Long Bay Beach, and Leeward Beach, just to name a few. Turks and Caicos has a lot of nice beaches to visit, but even if beaches aren't your thing when visiting Turks and Caicos, there are still other things you can do. Like Turks and Caicos has a few caves that you can visit and explore if you're into that, like Conch Bar Caves in Middle Caicos. And just like with the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos also has their official language as English, as they are a British overseas territory. And another interesting thing, if you're an American, you don't have to go through currency exchange when you get there, as Turks and Caicos accepts the US dollar as their main currency, which honestly surprises me. I mean, because they're a British overseas territory, I would have thought that maybe they would take British pounds or at least the euro, but nope, they take the US dollar, which is awfully convenient for American tourists. And a fair warning, Turks and Caicos does get hit by hurricanes during the Atlantic hurricane season, so be on the lookout for those if you choose to visit during that time. Number 5. St. Lucia. St. Lucia is located out in the eastern part of the Caribbean Sea. For those who haven't heard of St. Lucia before, it's actually famous for its stunning landscapes and gorgeous beaches. I remember when I first researched St. Lucia and I was stunned by their gorgeous mountains right next to their oceans. Let's face it, this island is just gorgeous, and it's no wonder why people are visiting here. If the beaches here don't have a lot of sand, they definitely have a lot of lush green, and the oceans have that tropical aqua blue look. When you look up pictures of St. Lucia, you'll be amazed. Even if you don't want to go to the beaches, there are also many other things to do within St. Lucia. Personally, my favorite that I have seen is the Diamond Falls Botanical Gardens. I actually love to look at beautiful gardens, and St. Lucia has Diamond Falls, where not only lush plant life grows, but there's also a very gorgeous waterfall you can look at. The whole island of St. Lucia is just beautiful, and it's no wonder it's number 5 on this list. Although the reason why it isn't higher is because I will warn you before you visit here. While the whole island itself is still generally a low crime area of the Caribbean, there has been a recent spike in property crimes and violent crimes, especially sexual assault. So I would be cautious when visiting here. And also, like most of the islands on this list, be on the lookout for hurricanes during the Atlantic hurricane season. Number 4. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Similar to St. Lucia, this is a group of islands made up with a similar landscape, which consists of many beautiful beaches and glorious mountains. It's gorgeous. It's also said that these islands are some of the quietest getaways in the Caribbean. It's a nice place to go to if you're just wanting some peace and quiet. Maybe you want to detox from city life and be away from your annoying neighbors. If that's you, then I recommend you look further into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is home to La Soufriere, an active stratovolcano on the island of St. Vincent. Because of this, there's also some volcanic beaches on the island with black sand and everything, similar to what you would find in Iceland. And if you love it in St. Vincent and the Grenadines so much that you don't want to leave, the real estate market is actually growing here. so you may have some luck if you want to buy property. And there is also a hurricane risk if you decide to visit here during the Atlantic hurricane season, so be on the lookout for those. Number 3. Barbados. Barbados has been a popular Caribbean resort for a long time, and for good reason. This 439 square kilometer island is filled with so much to do for tourists and locals alike. Like pretty much all of the Caribbean islands, Barbados has many beaches to visit, like Pebbles Beach that has views of their capital city Bridgetown, Accra Beach, and Bathsheba Beach, just to name a few. And even if the beach isn't your thing but partying is, Barbados has been ranked as having some of the best nightlife in the Caribbean. There are many nightclubs you could go to here, like Harbor Lights, as well as many festivals that they have every year, like Crop Over, which is coming up soon. They celebrate this every year to celebrate the ending of the local sugarcane harvest. If you're interested in this festival, mark your calendars, because in 2022 they're celebrating this from the 27th of July to the 2nd of August. And if you're a fan of eclectic music, you'll like Barbadian music. Barbadians pride themselves in their blend of British and African cultures, and it definitely shows that in their music. You'll hear a diversity of genres being played here, like Barbadian folk, Caribbean jazz, and calypso, just to name a few. And while a few hurricanes have hit Barbados recently, you should still be on the lookout for them if you're visiting during the Atlantic hurricane season. Number 2. The US Virgin Islands. The US Virgin Islands are incredible islands located between the Atlantic and the Caribbean. These islands have been a US territory since 1917, and they sure have grown in tourism over the years. The US Virgin Islands are filled with relaxing beaches, historic districts, delicious cuisines, and vibrant cultures. The US Virgin Islands are an especially good getaway if you're looking for vacationing out in nature rather than sightseeing in the city. The nature in the US Virgin Islands is actually quite lovely, along with many beaches to visit. Such beaches include Trunk Bay Beach and Magens Bay, just to name a few. And if you're big with nature, the US Virgin Islands has a lot to offer. They have the Virgin Islands National Park, which attracts more than 1 million tourists every year, and who can blame them? They have everything that you could think a national park could have. They have stunning beaches, hiking trails, protected bays, underwater sea gardens, and they even have ruins of historic sugar mills that you could sightsee. One of their most popular hiking trails is the Reef Bay Guided Hike, which is a great trail to see all sorts of nature and wildlife on the island of St. John, where it is located. They have more than 800 species of plants and 30 species of tropical birds, as well as many coconut palm, sea grape, and bay rum trees. Other wildlife includes many types of bats and moths, hawksbill turtles, green iguanas, geckos, and a whole diversity of marine life, which you can witness if you go snorkeling in one of their natural waters, like Maho Bay. The US Virgin Islands is also home to many cruise ship ports if you're interested in going on a cruise, like Charlotte and Amalie on the island of St. Thomas. Another good destination for families would be the Coral World Ocean Park, where you could have a more interactive marine experience without the danger of encountering any dangerous wildlife. The park contains an underwater observatory, a tropical nature trail, a huge glass-enclosed coral reef tank, as well as the Marine Gardens Aquarium, where animal lovers can get up close to sea turtles, dolphins, and other marine wildlife. There's just so much to do in the US Virgin Islands, I could make a whole separate video about it, hence why it is number 2 on this list. And as far as hurricanes go, the US Virgin Islands doesn't get hit by hurricanes often, but they occasionally happen. So I would be on the lookout for them if you plan to travel here during the Atlantic hurricane season. Alright, before we get to number 1, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and ring the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you're on your phone, be sure your notifications is turned on so you don't miss out on new videos. I have 2 honorable mentions to mention before we get to number 1. Trinidad and Tobago for its wild carnivals and glorious nature, and Key West, Florida for its water sports, beaches, and being the southernmost point of the United States. For more details on things to do in these locations, be sure to visit the links to the tourism details on these locations in the description. Alright, on to number 1. Number 1, the British Virgin Islands. There's a reason why their slogan is Paradise Redefined. The British Virgin Islands are some of the most gorgeous islands in the Caribbean, and there's a lot to do here. Not only does the British Virgin Islands have a lot of beaches to relax in, like White Bay Beach, they also have a lot to do if you like scuba diving and snorkeling. The British Virgin Islands offers a lot of diving lessons and tours for people who want to tour their underwater landscapes and witness their local marine life. And if you like boating, the British Virgin Islands offers a lot of boat rides and tours around the islands. And if you can afford so, you can even rent private boats and yachts to explore the waters around the islands. There are also caves you can explore all over the islands, like the Norman Island Caves. The The British Virgin Islands is also one of the safest Caribbean getaways on this list. That, along with its many activities to do on the islands, it's no wonder the British Virgin Islands is number 1 on this list. And that is it for top 10 places to visit in the Caribbean. Did you agree with this list? Let me know in the comments below. Was there a place in the Caribbean that should have been included in this list but wasn't? Let me know in the comments below. Was there an entry on this list that shouldn't have been on this list in your opinion? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give this video a like as it could help with YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more travel videos like this. And be sure to ring the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you're on your phone, be sure your notifications is turned on so that you don't miss out on new videos. This is Cameron, and thanks for watching.